Okay, looks like we are live. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody listening, wherever and whenever this podcast finds you. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the Bitcoin Weekly Wrap Up for 18 October 2019. Sorry for this being a little bit later than normal. Normally, I try to get them out on Friday, but there's some stuff going on, so was only able to get it going on now. So, I know a lot of people aren't going to be able to actually participate in the live stream. So, you'll be able to find this on YouTube, and everybody will find it usually tomorrow. So this is, once again, sponsored by eToro, a trusted smart trading platform that's over 12 years old and conducts over $1 trillion in trading annually. They offer the coolest features of any trading platform at Bitcoin, in my opinion. The first being their virtual trading wallet, which lets you trade notional dollars on real order books, letting you test strategies before you actually risk any real money. The other being their newest feature, which is copy trading, which allows, less than experienced traders to find traders out there who have proven themselves amongst the 11 million others in their social media platform that is actually built on eToro. So you pick one, two, as many as you like, and allocate a percentage of your portfolio to copy their trades. Now, why would legit traders, successful traders, allow others to copy them? Well, they get a percentage of your profits, so they basically create a larger portfolio for them to make money with. So you make money, they make money, everybody wins. So head over to didyouknowcrypto.com/eToro. That's didyouknowcrypto.com/ETORO. And that will redirect you through the affiliate link that they've given me. Lets them know that you are a listener and that you appreciate our sponsors. But you also get $50 free. So that's pretty cool. It is subject to some minimum deposits, but everybody wins again. So let's look at price here real quick. The price sunk below $8,000 this week again, and it's currently sitting at about $7,923 as of recording on the 18th of October, 2019. Our first story of the day, there were two heads of the CFTC, that's Commodities and Futures Trading Commission, have proposed their own, basically just another shitcoin, this being a digital dollar that's a pegged stable coin, basically. So Christopher Giancarlo, former CFTC chair, and Daniel, I don't know if I might be mispronouncing this, Gorfine, who's a former director of the Lab CFTC, proposed a stablecoin that would allow the dollar to compete with digital currencies, fearing an eroding of the position of the US dollar as the world's de facto reserve currencies. They illustrated a future where if the dollar lost its gleam, and a mess of issues, including loss of demand for government debt and price stability, would follow that. And they're not actually incorrect. So, however, they fail to mention that it's because of the mismanagement by the Federal Reserve and other central banks that is leading to this inevitable end and creating a niche that Bitcoin gladly fills. This would be, in the best case scenario for the digital dollar, only really kick the can down the road longer, as it seems that the only solution that Washington is, or people from Washington are capable of coming up with, is just doing that, kicking it down the can down the road, hoping that they're not going to be on the switch when things come crashing down. If your family is spending more than they are making and are looking at a near future when they'll barely be able to make minimum payments, getting a new credit card only kind of buys you a bit more time, but actually fixes none of the long-term problems. So just be prepared, folks. The next one is very interesting. So Layer 1, like I said, I was going to be trying to look for more positive stories to at least throw one or two in there per week. So Layer 1 is a company that's backed by the billionaire Peter Thiel. He was the co-founder of PayPal. And Peter, as well as other cryptocurrency companies, they're seeking to bring more Bitcoin mining actually back into the United States. And they are looking at mining Bitcoin with their own proprietary hardware using renewable resources of energy. And they already actually have land leases and substations in Texas, all ready to go. Now, back in March of 2019, I did an interview with Christopher Bendixson, episode 28 of the podcast. It'll be linked in the show notes at didyouknowcrypto.com/wrapup9. That's wrap-up9, all one word. Or if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be down in the description below. we're in that episode, we discussed that actually the majority of Bitcoin mining is already renewable. Uh, Mostly, a lot of it's based in China, but elsewhere throughout the world, and it's already mostly renewable. It's more renewable than it is not. And in many parts of these countries, a lot of the renewable hydro dams and things that they built are highly underutilized. And Bitcoin miners basically move around to get the lowest cost electricity that's possible. They find where there's underutilized renewable energy that's really cheap. They move in and they provide, everybody wins. We get a more secure network. Electricity that was going to waste is actually being used for something productive. And, it's just it's a win-win for everybody. Um, Bitcoin itself is, going to in the future likely drive a lot of innovation, electrical efficiencies as the price, rises, as it becomes more valuable. It's going to drive incentives to find, even more cheaper electrical sources, and it's going to spur the building of probably a lot more renewable, cheaper forms of energy. Especially in rural areas. Texas is already the lowest cost in terms of electricity in the United States. As far as in the U.S. And Layer One basically wishes their stated goal is to bump the current mining, which is around 5% in the United States, up to 15, which is it's a good thing. So Libra is in more trouble since my last wrap up. Visa, Mastercard, eBay, and PayPal have all left the association, leaving Libra with basically zero banking partners. It seems to be downplaying it, and are confident in getting 100 total members by their launch. And they talk up smaller partners who are involved roughly in finance and have a history in finance. But this kind of reminds me of Bush's 2003 Iraq War coalition of the willing that involved a lot of tiny nations that kind of had some sort of deals as far as for weapon sales or just loans for their debt, and this was done to bump up basically the number of the total nations participating. And so this kind of a lot of what they're saying is like, well, now their major banking and financial partners are gone, but we got these other little guys. So Treasury Secretary Mnuchin also commented earlier this week, I believe it was on Wednesday, saying that he'd already met multiple times with members of the Libra Association, and he basically said he was reiterating in his press conference that they need to meet regulatory requirements, which seems to be another gambit in this game of regulatory cat and mouse to see who blinks first. Eventually, nations will loosen these regulations as they will need to compete with decentralized. They're happy to watch Libra languish, or at least use it as leverage. And like I said in last week's episode, and probably the previous weeks as well, because I kind of like to do these updates on Libra every week, I was very confident that Libra was going to launch. I was 100% confident, as I am now, that if not Libra, something else will. Over time, I've become less and less positive on Libra actually launching in any kind of real form. This is a very sticky situation, and they may have jumped the gun a little bit on launching this. But as I see it, I still see a private digital currency being much more likely to be palatable in the United States than a government digital currency. Why? Because the surveillance aspect that will be wanted, and will be within a kind of basically a permission blockchain, that a national currency would run into a lot of issues and lawsuits and constitutional questions. Not that that matters all that much, but still the problem is there. Whereas with a private currency like Libra, the Constitution doesn't apply to a private company. They can stifle your freedom of speech. They can do all these sorts of things that the United States government at least can't. Other countries can. Obviously, China does. But as far as a private currency could technically, like Libra, just say this person's not allowed. Like all the partners agree. Whoever is offering official wallets like the Calibra through Facebook or any of the other partners can just say, Joe Smith, we don't like his politics or what he believes or whatever, right? A deplatforming, a definancing could be possible. Now, technically the way Libra is written in the white paper, which I don't think is the way it'll end up being, you could actually create your own wallet, just like you can generate one on Bitcoin and do the same thing and still operate just anonymously or pseudonymously, I should say. A private currency can navigate these sorts of things, whereas one that would be bound by constitutional issues would have a much more difficult, not impossible, and not even improbable, but much more difficult time to do. So I think it'd be more palatable, definitely at the beginning, coming from a private company like Libra. So that's why I'm still slightly bit confident that Libra still will launch, and I'm definitely 100% confident that something like it will launch, whether it's Libra or a 1984 coin. So that is it for this week's weekly wrap up in Bitcoin. I want to thank you for listening. Please, if you could go to iTunes and leave a review for the Did You Know podcast. Just go to my website at didyouknowcrypto.com and click on the Apple icon to leave a review. Also, show some love to my sponsors, eToro, who are the best place to buy, sell, and trade Bitcoin with the largest trading community, low fees, high security. So head over to didyouknowcrypto.com/eToro. That's didyouknowcrypto.com/ETORO and get that free $50 subject to some terms and conditions. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching and or listening, depending on your circumstances, and have a great night or day whenever you're listening.